I'm 33 years old, and I've been around a lot of blocks, as they say. In the neighborhood, and I've been allowed in. The neighborhood taught me a lot of realities about life that I hope that you guys can learn from as well. On the first block, I learned about drugs. My mom was introduced to a man named Denny. He was fresh out of prison, a drug dealer on parole. Thanks to a man named Dr. Sam, who's hopefully going to hell, my mom and Denny had more Oxycontin than any two people could ever need. My sister and I, we used to steal their pills and we would share them with our friends. My parents, they snorted the pills and so did my friends, and a lot of my friends became addicted, as well as my sister. And one of my very good friends overdosed shortly after high school. If you use drugs and have kids, this could be your reality. I carried a child with me around the second block. Over a period of about 16 years, my parents had transitioned from Oxycontin to heroin and into Norco. About 2 years ago, my mom started seeing Dr. Sam again. At first it started with just an increase in her Norcos, but then over the next few months it transitioned into methadone, morphine, Valium, Dilaudid, and Adderall. Denny died last year, and when he passed, my mom started using a lot more drugs to cope with her loss. And at the end of every month, she would run out of her medicine, and she would get sick again. The withdrawals were always the worst part for me. It brought back the anger from my teenage years. Hearing her retching and puking was the hardest part for me. When I was younger and still had sympathy for her, I would rub her back, but now the smell of her sweat makes me sick. If you use drugs and have kids, this could be your reality. We waited until spring for Denny's memorial service because he wanted his ashes spread in the river that he loved so much. My mom had stayed the night at the river house the night before, and I thought everything was ready for the service, but she had forgotten the guest book. So my morning started out with a phone call. My mom called me and said for me to bring the guest book and hurry up because she was starting to feel sick. She had a morphine patch in the jewelry box, and I needed to bring it quickly. In my anxious state, I couldn't find anything. I was taking too long, and I got another phone call, this time from Tammy. And she told me, hurry up, your mom's getting sick, and people are starting to show. So I was like, fuck it. I just forgot about the guest book, got my kids in the car, and we drove out to the river as fast as I could. And when I got there, I found out that she had left to go back to the house to get the patch. So I drove even faster because I was really pissed, and I still had a eulogy to write. And when I got there, I found my mom sleeping in the bathtub with the water overflowing. I was like, Mom, what the fuck? I gave her the patch and I left. When she got back to the river, she really didn't socialize much. She spent the majority of the memorial service in the bedroom. She tried to play the widow card, but it didn't work in a crowd full of family. And they turned on me, telling me that I needed to get out of this situation, and that I needed to get my son out of it. But they didn't understand the complexity of the situation. My son had just lost his grandpa, and I couldn't take his grandma away from him too. If you use drugs and have kids, this could be your reality. The block that I live on today is equally as dangerous. The worst thing that happened on this block was the adult conversation I had to have with my 10-year-old son. I had previously explained to him what was going on with his grandma's kidneys, but I didn't tell him why. And I felt like he had a right to know. I needed to explain to him exactly what was going on and that it wasn't all her fault. The day that I was supposed to give my informative speech, I missed class because I took my mom to the hospital for the 3rd month in a row. She stayed in the ICU for 4 days. Denny used to be the one that would take her to the hospital when she was sick. But with him being gone, I have to do what I've been avoiding all these years. And I'm going to be the one that's going to be next to her bed when her kidneys don't come back. But my son's going to be there too. She had explained to me on the way to the hospital that she had passed out twice and she didn't know how long she was out for. During those 3 months, the only time that I cried was when I thought about her dying. And not because of how much I would miss her, but because of the relief that I would feel of it being over. And that really sucks. If you use drugs and have kids, that could be your reality.